Okay, I've been accused of going a little fast sometimes, but I don't have that luxury sometimes of not going very fast, and this is one of those times. So try to keep up. 6L45. I've already put all my bushings in because I have to do that over at the arbor press. I don't have a camera mount over there, so I can't show that. So this is our center support. This is the 2/6 side of things. We got our piston. The 6L45 piston is a different height than the 6L50. You have two snap rings. You have a snap ring that has a bevel on both sides. That's the one you want down here. Just gonna pop it into place. Just make sure it's all the way back up in there. Alright, you have a cushion plate. Single-sided clutches, outside teeth first. On the 6L45, you're only use 4 of each. Make sure I've got everything right. Our pressure plate on top, the step up snap ring. Back. This is our low reverse, and we have an O-ring that goes on here. Goes right down in there. I would recommend that you put new pistons in these. They're usually starting to come apart. You can get the special tools to put them in if you want. I don't really find the need for them. This one's not wanting to go. Just make sure and use plenty of lube on them. Bevel plate, the fingers up. We have a blind spline on our sprag. This side goes down. Make sure our spline is lined up or it will not go down. Snap ring, you can see it has a taper to the tips. You want the short end of the taper up towards you. And I don't have a camera mount at the foot press, so I'll be back. Okay, the low reverse clutches are different on the 6L45 than the 50 and the 80 and the 90. Got a cushion plate, steel. This is what our clutches look like. No, I don't soak my clutches. You can soak the clutches if you want to. I never really found a difference between doing it and not doing it, so I don't do it. Most everybody I know doesn't do it either. Like I say, if you want to do it, more power to you. Pressure plate with the step up, snap ring. Okay, down in here, let's see if we can get a little bit closer. You got a big O-ring that goes right here. Right here, there's two slots. Bottom slot goes this O-ring. Top slot is for the snap ring. D-shaped ring goes right here. Where's my piston? There it is. Hiding from me. We got a D-shaped O-ring that goes on the outside here. Bell valve plate, the dish up. On this piston here, D-shaped rings, large one on the outside, and depending on what piston you have as to what D-shaped rings are going to go out here, you're going to have an extra one left over. So just pick the one that fits properly, and then the other one's just extra. Just like that one right there is too large. Okay, there's a snap ring that goes right there. We want the short end of the taper up again. Then this piston is going to go around there. This piston is going to go down. And I'm going to go do all this at one time, so I only have to make one trip. And our bell valve plate's going to go with the dish up. Our balance piston is going to go with the lips down. These little feet up. Make sure you don't roll these lips when you're putting that in there. It's going to go on top. And our other snap rings are going to go with the short end of the taper up. Okay. have our cushion plate, bottom steel. The center one's going to go where the spline was on that one. We're going to keep all these lined up. Our clutches. Alright, there's a blind spline on the drum here. The opening of the snap ring has to go there. Right there. We have our apply piston. Make sure that gets all the way down. Cushion plate. And alternate steels and clutches. You have a blind spline again. Right there. Opening of the snap ring goes there. Have our drum. Our bottom piston. Bevel plate dish up. Balance piston. Make sure not roll this again. Only go down far enough to put the snap ring in. Short end of the taper up again. And you need a pair of snap ring pliers. Alright, cushion plate. Start with an outside teeth. These are single-sided. Outside teeth first. Alternate all the way to the top. Pressure plate goes with the step up. Alright. On these ceiling rings, just cut them off. If it fits tight up into your stator, if it's got a lot of drag, you don't really need to change these. But if you want to change them, they are solid. So if you don't have the resizer, just stretch them out by hand so you can get it over the ring lands. and kind of mash it back up into there. Help resize it just a little bit. Make sure I had one that will probably fit. Now you can do it with either just a hose clamp, or you can get a bushing that's about this size, split it and put it around, and then put a hose clamp around that. Either way will work. One way you can do all of them at one time. The other way you're doing one at a time. Alright, we want to make sure that we're in the groove. And then tighten it down. And go on to the next one. And let that sit for a moment. These ceiling rings right here, they have locking tabs right here. I recommend you do not replace these. You're probably going to end up pulling it right back out if you replace them. Just leave them alone. See if this is resized enough. Put your stator on top. You may have to leave it on there just a little bit longer. Go ahead and grease that up a little bit. Alright, spin that around a few times, and then we're going to let that sit there. Let me get all my pump stuff over here, and then we'll go on to that. Alright, your pump seal is just going to push in. Bushing's already replaced. There is a snap ring that holds your front seal in. O-ring for the outside. There's an O-ring that goes underneath here. A little grease to help hold your Teflon ring on the back. Slides are going to go on. Right, you have a round rubber and a Teflon seal. The rubber goes up against the slide, the Teflon against the pump cover or pump body. Pivot pin with the spring down. Slide spring, put your bottom coil down. It makes it easier to pop this in there. They do make a tool to put this in. I'm not going to spend the money on it. I can put it in by hand. We have our guide ring. You have one side that has these notches in it, the other side does not. Our plastic piece will only line up one way, faces down. On your vanes, you will see where the rings were riding before. Put those back against the rings unless you're replacing it, and then it's not going to matter which direction you put them. You can put them any way you want anyway, but I always face them back the way that they were. Another guide ring on top. Now I would recommend that you put a zip kit in these trannies, just like on the 6L80s. If you do it, you're going to drill this hole out. You're going to put a plug inside of there. The Transgo one, you're not going to do that, so don't do that, and don't go swapping between them. So this already has a zip kit put in it. We have our dowel pins going to line up right there. Alright, there is no gasket that goes in here. Your pin needs to line up on your stator. You need to use some kind of lineup tool. I just used the 4L60 tool. No, it does not fit properly. I mean, it doesn't have any support over here, but it does not matter. It does line it up. I'm not going to buy an extra lineup band just for that when this will work. Alright, 97 inch-pounds. Kind of work in a star pattern and work your way out from center out. Just going to make sure I did not miss any. Alright, and you can use the sun gear and weld a handle onto it, get you one to use as a tool. I just use a big pair of channel locks. Make sure I got a good purchase onto the splines here. Really helps to have two people, but I usually don't have the luxury of that, so I just grab a hold of the bell housing. Helps to be able to bolt it down, but I just grab it. And you want to turn it clockwise. Just want to preload that and make sure that it has all the way back up against that one. 97 inch-pounds, star pattern again. Get all 6. I think I missed one. We'll just go around and check. All right. Take our lineup band off. Alright, I think we're ready to go into the case, and I need to change camera angles to do that, so we'll be back. Trying to keep it from wobbling so much. Down on the bottom of the case we got this bearing. It's going to go this way. The output shaft with the ring gear. There's no need to take the ring gear out, so let's leave it in there. This bearing, lip down, planetary. Got your planetary. Okay, your bearing is captured. It's not going to come out, so we're good there. Center support, feed port's going to face at the bottom of the case. We have to line up these lugs in the case. on, baby, drop. There we go. Our snap ring has a bevel to it. The bevel goes up, opening. Oop, camera's right in the way. Opening at the 9 o'clock position. Bearing with the lip facing down. Sun shell. There we go. This bearing, the lip down. Sun shell. This bearing is normal for it to be missing rollers. Make sure that the race is on the back here. This bearing. 456 drum. This bearing, lip up. Planetary with the washer. Tabs have to fit in there. Planet goes in. Sun gear. One, two, three, four, 3, 5 reverse drum. Alright, sounds like we're down. Pump assembly. This has to face out the bottom. Pump bolts. Alright, 23 foot-pounds. lockup O-ring. Give a little lube on that. Alright, our seals for the center support. Alright, on the valve body, I'm going to just show you a generic valve body when I do the check balls. This is the valve body on a 6L45. Is an A is ground off, 50 the B, 80 the C, D is 90. The lube ports on a 6L45 and a 50 are in the center. On an 80 the lube ports are up here. On a 90 they're down at the bottom. No exhaust ports here. It's 2010 and up. Other than that, pretty much all of them are the same. Check balls are all the same for all of them. You got a 7 ball and an 8 ball, depends on what plate you have. You can put the 8 ball plate on here. If it has 7, it's no big deal. You just got to make sure you use the right balls with the right plate. Line up your linkage on there. Make sure your dowel pins line up on your valve body. Make sure your gaskets are on the front there. The speed sensor bosses are taller on a 6L50 and a 45 compared to the 80 and the 90. You got these bolts for your valve body. There's 71 inch-pounds. I'd already gone through the valve body on this, so I don't have time to go back on this particular valve body and show you it. I'll just show you the check ball locations. I would recommend you put a zip kit in here like I said. I do it on every 45, 50, 80, and 90 rebuild that I do. I also put the Tecum rebuild kit in them. There's a video I have about doing that if you desire to see it. I just don't have the time to go back on this one and show it. I didn't even think about doing a rebuild video on this until after. I already have one on the 50, but clutches are a little different on the 45 than they are on the 50. So I decided to go ahead and do a video on it. All right, filter. Oh, we got to put our pump seal in. Should have done that earlier. forgot all about it. Baby. There we go. Pan gasket. This helps if we put it the right direction, right? Right. And gummit. Alright, this is our fluid level. Pull that out. When it runs out of there, it's full. At a certain temperature. Oh. And you have this seal, goes on the end. I have a lineup tab. Make sure you line that up, shove it in. All the way till your tab will go down. Once that's locked in, have our pan. This is the fill. You pull the plug out a certain temperature, and when the fluid just dribbles out the hole, and it's full. .80" pounds on the pan bolts. Literally had like 5 minutes left. Okay, so the filler tube, I don't know how well that's going to show up. It's right down in here. It's not actually a filler tube. This is your fill plug. In order to get it out, you pop this up, then this will come out. To get it in, you just lube it up, stick it in there, and then push that down and it locks it in. They're going to have to pull that back out to put fluid in it, so I'm just going to leave it like that. This is the seal for the cooler lines. Got a rubber lathe cut seal that goes here. Alright, tail housing. Tail housing bolts. Alright, 41 foot-pounds. Output flange, put a little bit of red Loctite on here, 71 foot-pounds. The lever seal that you're not going to be able to see me put in goes in this way. This is the standard tool that you get off the tool truck to pull it off and put it in. And we're done with this unit. Okay, like I said, the valve body that I have here is not out of a 6L45, but they all have the same check ball locations. There's a 7-ball, there's an 8-ball. You can put the 8-ball plate in a 7-ball if you want to. The ball was added to address a first gear acceleration and deceleration clunk, so it's okay to use the plate and put the ball in, and it goes right there if you have the hole in your plate, and the hole in your plate is right here. If it's small like that, then it takes the check ball. If it's larger than that right there, it does not take the ball. Put your plate on, put your other part of your valve body on. Like I said, I recommend you put a zip kit in. I put a zip kit in every single one of these. 7 millimeters on this side, is a tightening sequence. Pretty much it's just crisscross and work your way down and in. 71 inch-pounds on these bolts. And I believe this is the pattern that they call for. I'm sure somebody's going to correct me on it. I've already done that one. It's not that critical. Just as long as you kind of crisscross and work your way out. Make sure that you have your gasket on. I recommend you rebuild your Tecum. Also, there's a couple lineup pins. Make sure it goes down on there. You have 7mm, 10mm, and 8mm bolts. 10mm go here. 7mm go here. The 8mm go on the end here. I'm trying to get this on camera and it's kind of screwing with the way I normally do things. Right, these are hand tighten only. I do it with my impact. People get upset about it. It's not that big of a deal. If you know how to work your tool. So nobody gets upset. I'm just going to hand tighten these. These two on the end, the 8s, get tightened first. Then the 10s. Just want to make sure that you don't over tighten them and crack this. Alright, you're probably going to want to let that sit for 10-15 minutes and then redo it. And you may want to do that a couple times. I just determine it by how it feels when I do it. Once I check it the second time, if it's still pretty snug, then I call it good. If it seems like it's loosened up any, then I might do it one more time after that. Okay, on your neutral switch, pop that down into there, 10mm bolt here. Your wiring harness needs to hook in right there, lock it into place. There's another 10mm that goes up here. For 7mm, they go here. Since I already have the 7 on here, actually I need to use the torque wrench. 71 inch-pounds again. Does not specify a sequence for these bolts. Put your seals in right here and here, and don't forget to plug in your speed sensors. And that's all there is to the valve body.